Welcome to Women in Community. I'm Cecilia, and again, I am so happy and honored to have my special friend, Dr. Linda Russell, with me today as we talk about safe relationships. Linda, I'm so happy that you are here with us again for a part 2 of safe relationships.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoy talking about this.
Yes. It's so important. I
Yes,
think.
it is.
And so we are going to talk about how to develop a healthy sense of self. And by the way, self in that sense is not a dirty word,
Exactly.
but a sense of self-worth.
Yes.
And so I am going to ask you to share about that.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we don't think about very often is about self. We're constantly thinking, and maybe a lot of times have been taught that is a selfish thing to do, is consider self. And then if you're always thinking about your own needs and selfness, then yes, it can be. But what we look for is we've got to know that we're healthy in ourselves, because relating to others is difficult to do unless we have that good, healthy sense of self-value or self-worth.
So true.
Yeah. So one of the things that really has to be determined is, do you have a well-established sense of safety and connection with others? If you feel fairly safe, or know that if you're not safe, that you need to remove yourself or get out of that situation, then you're probably going to need to work on that with somebody, a professional that can help you with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise you're going to be looking for safety in the wrong places and end up with wrong things. And you won't have you obviously don't have that self-worth by having to do that. So that's number one. The thing that happens whenever that lack of worth or value of self is present and within you, that anytime there's a perceived threat of someone leaving you, or maybe being alone or lonely, it seems completely unresolvable, because it's like, I have to have somebody or someone to connect to. So connection and safety are two of the most important elements to consider in your self-value and your self-worth, because that's the place where you know you can be okay regardless of someone being around, or if you have to be around somebody else, you can do it without someone else. So a good, healthy, what we call in my business, our business, secure attachment style is the thing that really takes you to the next level in understanding your value. Because again, if you know that you have self-worth and value, what happens out here or how other people treat you does not change that for you. It still exists. And what you do is, if someone treats you poorly, because of course, when someone treats you poorly, it's about their self-worth and value.
Yeah.
But then you understand that may be a dangerous situation to be in terms of relationship. So you find a way to get out of that, because you know that you have value regardless. Healthy individuals do recognize where support and that interventions like counseling can be very, very helpful whenever that, in other words, we can all have, if we had self-worth and value and we run into a bump, we realize that getting that support from somebody is the right thing to do, and to jump out there and get it so we don't stay stuck.
Right.
Because that is what can happen if we don't get that professional support.
So important. So important.
It's absolutely important.
And I'll tell you, almost every one of us at some point in our life, when we go through a very challenging period in our life, we need that support. I don't care who we are,
That's exactly right. And, a lot of times I will hear some of my clients say, well, I've got friends. I talk to my friends. And there's nothing wrong with that,
of course,
unless the friends are the only ones that get stuck with that every time.
Yeah.
And after a while, it gets a little wearing, especially if you don't get through something fairly quickly. But I would like to point out two other things that I think they're very connected, that are helpful in developing a good self-worth. And that is knowing our limitations and recognizing boundaries and sticking to boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So,
big deal.
Limitations are not bad things. Sometimes if you don't have a good sense of self-worth, what happens is we feel like we have to do in order to be okay, but then we can't all do everything well, right? So we have limitations, which basically means we're kind of out of our playing field. We're doing something that we really don't have the skill for or whatever. So there's that piece. And then the other piece is the boundaries. We have to be able to say no. And if we are really searching for our sense of value in helping others and doing others all the time, it's very, very difficult to do that. So if you find yourself in a position where you are unable to say no, you're unable to be okay without saying yes to everything, I would highly recommend that you get some help with that, because it's very difficult. You get yourself in situations by saying yes to too many things that then you feel badly about as well at the end of it. So just understanding that a good, healthy sense of self-worth will recognize that whether or not I say no or yes, that I have value regardless.
Oh, so important. Yes.
So setting boundaries is a huge factor. And then so summing up the factors for developing that healthy sense of self, check in with your connection and safety with others. Where are you at with that? How does that feel in connection with others? Recognize how you connect and attach with others. Is it healthy? Is it good? Or are you always needing their attention or phone calls, or you're needing to be in contact with them? That's a red flag. Embrace interventions whenever the communication and conflict resolution are not working. And then recognize your limitations and your boundaries as necessary. Know what your playing field is and when to say no.
Oh my goodness, that is such good. And I think that you need to listen to this video over and over again. Because,
we all do.
yeah, no, but there's so many nuggets and so many amazing good points here. Boundaries is huge.
It really is.
Huge.